What's up, everyone? My name is Sam. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Sanjana Fitness Yoga YouTube channel. Today's beginner's level Hatha Yoga flow will be focused around yoga as resistance, and in particular we'll be kind of deprogramming, unboxing our body propaganda that we've internalized. We all kind of take in and internalize that negative self-image, negative self-talk in the Western world, so we're going to address that with mantras such as I am strong, I am capable, and I deserve rest. So when you're ready, we'll get started in a comfortable cross-legged seat in the middle of your mat. Feel free to bring a pillow or a bolster for under your hips if you need one, and I'll meet you there. We're going to come into any kind of cross-legged seat that's comfortable for you, but make sure you're checking in with your spinal alignment, your posture. So you have a nice neutral spine, which means your spine is resting comfortably at its natural curvature. So the spine is not always just straight, it's kind of curved. Anyway, neutral spine, cross-legged seat. We're going to start to settle in here, so feel free to close your eyes if it feels good. Remember that this practice is your own, so cultivate it as such. All of my cues are merely suggestions. Take what you need and leave what you don't. Right away, we can start reconnecting with the breath. Settling into the body, quieting the mind, checking in with the self today. Noticing how you feel without judgment in the physical body, the intellectual body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. Whatever those mean to you. Start to settle the waves of the mind. Start to come to stillness. Maybe start to think about some mantras that you might want for today's practice. Today's practice is going to be themed around yoga as resistance. We're going to be deprogramming some body propaganda. So you might have a mantra like, I am capable, I am strong, I am worthy, or I deserve rest. We're going to start to teach our nervous system that those things are true, so that you can better meet the challenges of your day, your week, and your life. And so you can resist the ideas that you may have internalized about the self as a result of the propaganda and conditioning of individualism that we're all exposed to under capitalism. Starting to create this space for yourself on the mat, this little protected bubble of self-care. Letting go of any expectations for the future or memories of the past, just to be here now. And the messages and movements that we focus on today could be part of a more robust practice wherein you really convince yourself that you are worthy, strong, capable, and deserving of rest. Notice your natural breathing rhythm. Let's exhale anything you don't need here today. Getting rid of that waste and excess from the body. And just noticing the expansion of the lungs and natural movement of the torso on your inhales. Notice the ease and fullness of your breath, or maybe lack thereof, without judgment. And let's really work to be radically present, even just quieting the mind, detaching from your day-to-day. For a few minutes every day is resistance. Give your body, your mind, and your nervous system permission to relax and let go of what you don't need here right now. You might scan through the parts of the body just to see with your mind's eye, just to take inventory of what you're feeling and where. Or you might just take a few more cycles of breath just to quietly turn inward. Before we begin movement, before we open the eyes even, just check in again with that spinal alignment. Honoring the natural curvature of the spine, maybe pulling the shoulders back a bit, getting long through the neck, all the way through the crown of the head. Maybe tucking the chin and just noticing the fullness of your breath. We'll gently open the eyes when you feel ready. And we'll just start by incorporating some really small movements through the head and neck. So I'm going to start by drawing small circles with the nose. If you have a practice here and know what to do, feel free. If you want to follow my cues, I'm just going to expand that circle, rotating through the cervical spine at the base of the skull. And as I expand those circles, I might tuck the chin a little bit, or roll the chin up toward the ceiling, stretching through the front of the throat. Noticing what you feel and where, without getting overwhelmed. And just allowing your need or those sensations to dictate how you move from there. So typically once I get that circle nice and wide, I just start to rock the chin left to right gently across the chest. Stretching through the back and sides of the neck. Take what you need here, leave what you don't. And if you're not sure what you need, just start by observing without judgment. Notice what you feel. Where? Try to articulate that to yourself internally. Maybe reverse those circles when you feel ready. Taking your time to explore and settle in. When you feel good about that, just check in again with the integrity of the posture, getting long through the spine once again. I'm going to remove this pillow under my hips. Feel free to do the same. If you really aren't ready to do that, you can manage with the pillow under your hips. If you can remove it, let's check in with those connections to the mat, to the earth, wherever you are. Sits bones rooting down through the ground. letting the knees fall open. Rolling the shoulders back, tucking the chin. We'll leave the left hand on the top of the left knee for this moment and bring the right palm to the mat on the outside edge of your right hip, with your fingertips facing away from you. So bring your palm all the way down to the mat, and then we'll slowly slide it away from the body toward the right. And as we do that, we're going to make sure the left hip stays anchored. So we're not letting the hip rise up. We're staying nice and pressed down to the mat. If you can't come all the way down to the forearm without your hip coming up, just come into a bent elbow position. Pulling that hip open to the left and sinking your weight down toward that right elbow. Once you get there, we're going to cycle the left hand all the way up and overhead, making this nice long line from the left fingertips all the way down through the left hip. Once again, just pulling that left knee open, maintaining that contact of the left sits bone to the mat. And then from here, make it your own. You can stay here in this static pose and just enjoy that sensation all the way down the side body or whatever you're feeling. Or you can slide the hand forward like you're brushing it across an invisible plane of glass, or slab of ice or something. Just noticing what that movement through the shoulder does for the sensations of the body. Stay connected to the breath here. If you're stationary in that static pose, you might also try just flipping the palm up toward the ceiling and pulling that left shoulder back, looking up toward the ceiling. Also pulling that left knee open, staying anchored through the left hip. Try not to collapse through the neck. Stay engaged and long there. When you're ready, we'll gently slide that left hand back through center and press up through that right palm, extending through the right elbow to come back to your starting position. What we do to one side, we always do to the other. So keeping that right hand on your right knee for now. Bring the left hand to the outside edge of the left hip. Fingers pointing away from you toward the left. And then keeping that right sits bone, right hip anchored to the mat, we'll slide the left hand away from the body toward the left, coming down onto a bent elbow, or maybe coming all the way down onto your left forearm, really pulling that right hip open. So my right hip is less mobile than my left, which means that on this side, I need to keep my elbow slightly bent. So pulling that right knee open, we'll lead with the fingertips all the way up and overhead, extending fully through that right shoulder, right elbow, noticing what you feel and where. Again, pulling that right knee open, staying anchored, and exploring in any way that feels right for your body today. Not forcing any shape, letting go of expectation, and maybe reminding yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I am deserving of rest, and I'm here to resist. Good. Rotate that right hand back through center when you're ready, coming all the way back to your comfortable cross-legged seat. From here, just settling where you are. Notice which shin is in front of the other. Sink down through the sits bones and then bring the palms to face each other in front of the heart space. We're not touching. We're going to send the fingertips all the way up and overhead, directly above the shoulders, really reaching. Trying to get long, take up as much space as you can. Extend through the spine, decompress. Turn your palms to face me and we'll hinge at the hips to slowly, gently, mindfully bring the palms down to the floor. Staying anchored through the sits bones, relaxing through the head, the neck, the shoulders. Reconnecting with the breath. And maybe letting something go. a few quiet moments here just to notice what you feel, to be present, to let go of everything in the outside world, everything outside of this bubble on your mat. Take a look at the shin that's in front in your cross-legged seat. You're going to press into the fingertips, and then we'll walk the fingertips to the direction of that knee. So my right shin's in front. I'm just going to walk my fingertips over to the right. And I'm going to fold forward somewhere over or near that right knee. Again, relaxing through the head, the neck, the shoulders, staying anchored through the sits bones. You can use that tension in the fingertips to keep you stable there. Just notice what you feel and where. We'll press into the fingertips, gently walk them through center, and do the same thing on the second side. So I'm coming over to my left knee, left thigh now. I'm going to kind of frame that with my extended arms and fold over that left knee. Pulling that right knee open. Arms can be active or passive here. So you can walk the fingertips away from the body, or just even come down onto the forearms. Listen to your body. Don't force any shape or expectation. And just remind it it's doing a great job and it's okay to relax. Bring your awareness back to the fingertips, full extension at the elbows if you're not already there. And we will walk them back through center. Pause there. Root down through the sits bones by pressing into the fingertips, feeling all 10 fingers contact with the floor. And then we'll slowly, gently, mindfully walk the fingertips toward the body, rolling up through the spine. Coming all the way back up to that nice posture, a nice neutral spine, shoulders back, chin tucked, long neck. And we're going to switch whichever shin is in front. So if the right is in front, just use your hands. Put that left one in front, pull that right one in. All right. Once again, bringing the palms to face one another at the heart space. And then extending the fingertips all the way up toward the ceiling, directly over the shoulders. Let's fold forward by hinging at the hips, palms toward me. When you land, just take a second to check in. Notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Notice which shin is in front. We will walk the fingertips in that direction. So I am once again going to fold over my left knee, left thigh. Pulling that right knee open, staying anchored through the sits bones. Listening to the body. Staying connected to the breath. Go ahead and do the same thing on that second side when you're ready. First by bringing awareness to all 10 fingertips and gently walking them through center. Not in a hurry, just enjoying the journey, noticing what you feel along the way. Coming to frame that right knee and folding down over that right knee, right thigh, or somewhere in the vicinity. Honoring where your body is today, without judgment, without pressure, without expectation. Maybe even expressing a little gratitude for your ability to move and the sensations you get to enjoy here. Good. Press into the fingertips when you're ready to slowly walk them back through center. Walk them toward the body to come all the way back up to that neutral spine, shoulders back, chin tucked. Take a second, turn inward, notice what you feel. When you're ready, we'll roll forward onto all fours for cat-cow. So I'm going to turn to center myself on the mat. Knees are under the hips, palms are under the shoulders, coming onto the tops of the feet, front of the shins. And we're going to sync up with the breath. On your inhale, drop the belly, low ribs come down toward the mat, lift the gaze, tilt the pelvis. And as you exhale, press into the lower palms, press into the tops of the feet, low ribs come inward. Sync up with your natural breathing rhythm. Inhale, drop the belly. And feel free to incorporate any other spinal mobility here. So drawing circles with the ribs or the hips. Maybe reversing those circles, bending into the elbows. Being curious about your own mobility and the sensations you feel in these poses. Good. Take your time here. And when you feel good about it, we're going to walk the hands back up toward the knees, bringing the hips to the heels. And we're going to come into a hero pose here. So it's like sitting on your heels, except we're going to incorporate a little internal rotation. So before I sit back all the way, I'm just going to turn my feet slightly outward. Move my heels away from each other so that I can sink my sits bones down directly to the mat. So your sits bones are in contact with the mat completely. You feel that connection, both hips to the ground. And feel free to widen the knees if you need to. Once again, checking in with that spinal alignment. Trying not to get overwhelmed by anything you might feel through this internal rotation at the hips. We'll take a moment here just to get grounded, just to reconnect with the breath. Reminder that rest and breaks are important if resistance is your goal. So you might find stillness here, or you might repeat your mantra. We won't be here long. Spend as much time here as you like. It's your practice. Make it your own. And when you're ready to come out of this, we're going to do a little counter stretch with an extended child's pose. So you can roll forward onto the palms, extend through the hips. Bring the toes, the big toes into touch. We'll widen the knees. Send the heels back, or the hips back toward the heels, find contact there. And then we'll walk the hands forward, bringing the chest and forehead all the way down to the mat, or near the mat, or to a block or prop, or anything you need under your forehead. Once you get there, make it as active or as passive as you'd like. Just relax through the arms, bend into the elbows a little bit, or press into the fingertips, walk them further from the body. Notice what changes in those sensations and listen to what your body needs here. Take your time just to turn inward. Got nowhere to be but here. I watch the time so you don't have to. Work on being here now, being present. Quieting the mind as an act of resistance. Allowing your body true rest. Maybe just reminding yourself how strong you are, how capable you are, how much you've grown, and how much you will grow. Take a few more quiet moments just to turn inward. Notice the fullness and ease of your inhales. And maybe let something go on your exhales. Stay here as long as you need. And when you're ready to come out of this pose, gently open the eyes if they're closed. Bring your awareness to all 10 fingertips and press them into the mat as you lift the forearms and the elbows and then the forehead. We'll walk the hands toward the body, coming back into that seated position. And from here we're going to come into a yogi squat, or just a squat position. So get there how you get there. I'm going to lean forward, curl my toes under, and then roll back onto the heels. Just resting on the balls of the feet here. Knees nice and wide. Go ahead and experiment with that. You can bring the knees closer together or further apart. You can find different angles of foot placement on the mat. Bringing the elbows to the inside edges of the feet, palms together at the heart. And then we can make this dynamic in a multitude of ways. So you're building strength and mobility in the ankles just by staying stable here. You can also bring your hands to the mat and incorporate some movement through the ankles and feet. It's really good to stimulate them in ways that they typically aren't. So I just like to roll through the feet, roll left to right through the ankles and knees, just noticing what you feel and where. If that's really comfortable for you, you're having a great time, you want to incorporate more movement, you can also do things like plant one hand in the middle of the mat, bring the other hand upward toward the ceiling, vice versa. Or you can just find stillness, pressing the elbows to the inside edges of the knees, palms together at the heart, building strength in the pelvis and lower diaphragms. Settling the nervous system, quieting the mind. When you're ready, we can release the hands to the mat for one of my favorite transitions, which is yogi squat to standing forward fold. So I'm going to lean forward slightly and extend through the knees. I'm going to walk my feet toward one another, just under the hip points, under the shoulder points, toes facing forward. And of course, there's so many ways to make this pose dynamic, so feel free to explore, make it your own. I like to just bend into my elbows and grab my elbows with my hands, and then rock gently left to right. Notice how that changes the sensations in the posterior chain, particularly the hamstrings, the calf, the ankles, or wherever else you feel it. You can also release the fingertips to the mat and just walk the fingertips over to the left side or the right side of the mat, framing the outside edge of your foot. Feel free to explore, just move mindfully, so you're not rushing or forcing any shape. You can interlock the hands behind the knees or behind the thighs. Just again, not forcing any shape, just letting the sensations of the body dictate how long you hold, how tight you hold, etc. Take your time in this pose. This is a really great reset pose for me. It's a really good change of perspective. You can do it anywhere. I do this pose throughout the day, all the time. Just to refresh the mind, reset the nervous system, and to be present in the sensations of the body. All right, when you've had enough of that, we're going to walk this out into a downward dog. So you can center yourself on your mat how you need to. I'm just going to walk the fingertips away from the body, coming to this triangle shape, rotating my fingertips away from each other slightly, and maybe bending into the knees so that my heels can touch the floor. But that's not really a big deal. Mostly we want to stay flat through the back. Bend into the knees as generously as you need to. After that forward fold, they might already be touching the floor, who knows. Either way, no pressure. We can make this pose dynamic as well, so listen to what your body needs here and feel free to explore. So I'm going to start just by bending into both knees one at a time. Just noticing. You might bend generously into the knees, checking in there, just incorporating small movements. I like to look under each armpit and notice how that changes the sensations in the calves and in the hamstrings. You can also sink your weight into one hand, lift the other hand, and bring that to the opposite calf. Just notice where you feel when you try those things. Take what's calling to you, leave what you don't need. And when you're done playing, we'll come to stillness and downward dog. Checking in there. And from here, we're going to come into a high lunge. So I'm going to plant my left foot somewhere near the middle of the mat, pressing into all 5 toes on that foot. I'm going to slide my right toes all the way down to the edge of the mat and then up toward the ceiling for a 3-legged dog. Lifting the gaze to between the palms. We'll bend into that right knee and bring it all the way up and through to plant that right foot on the mat and frame it with both hands. We'll keep that back knee lifted. Make sure you're not locking it. So if you're hypermobile, don't push it into full extension. Let your quads do a little bit of work there. And then when you've found your balance, toes are all pointing forward. You can lead with the fingertips to hinge at the hips and guide those fingertips all the way up toward the ceiling. Arms at full extension, sinking nice and low into that right hip. Make sure your right knee is not collapsing inward. You're nice and balanced, stable, symmetrical here. And from here, we're just going to drop the hands down slowly to the right as we turn the torso toward the right, coming into this side twist, which we've been practicing lately. Just kind of opening up through that right shoulder, right palm, pulling that back behind you. Left palm comes to the outside edge of the right knee. Just challenging the balance and twisting through the spine. All right, let's revert to that hands in the air. Starting pose posture, your high lunge. And from here, we're going to come into a warrior 3. I'm going to move back a little bit just to make sure we have enough space. But this is a balancing pose. And this transition should be challenging. Sink your weight down into that right foot. Make sure you feel those connections to the mat. And what we're going to do is gently drop the hands down to the mat and behind us. And kick up that left foot to come into a balancing pose on the right foot. So I'm gently going to release my hands down to the mat, lean forward slightly. Kick up that left foot all the way up to parallel to the mat. Try to bring your hands also parallel to the mat. We're just floating here on the right leg. You can also bring your hands to the back of the right calf, or to the floor, or to some blocks or props if you need to. Otherwise, we're just flying here in this warrior three, challenging the balance, remembering your mantra, I am strong, I am capable. Look what your body can do. And if you fall out, just get right back in. Good. When you're ready, we're going to gently guide that left foot back behind us, sink back onto the ball of that left foot, coming back to that starting position of high lunge. All right, from here, we'll cycle the hands back down to frame that right foot. Send that right foot back for plank. And we're going to vinyasa. So we'll slowly lower either halfway for chaturanga to upward facing dog, or all the way to the belly for cobra. Whatever's in your practice today. Checking in, feeling strong. Sending the hips up high. Heels toward the mat for downward dog. Catch your breath here, catch up, take a break. Listen to what your body needs. And when you are ready, we will of course do to the second side what we did to the first. So we're going to start by planting that right foot somewhere near the midline of the mat. We're going to slide those left toes all the way up toward the ceiling for three-legged dog. Lift the gaze to between the palms. Bend into that left knee and bring that left foot all the way up and through. Keeping that back knee lifted. Go ahead and adjust your foot placement if you need. Keeping that really back toward the back of the mat. And then leading with the fingertips to hinge at the hips. Bringing the hands all the way up toward the ceiling for your high lunge, sinking down nice and low in that left hip this time. Let's twist to the left and drop the hands down. So bringing the right hand to the outside edge of the left knee, pulling that left shoulder, left palm behind you. Maybe looking back over that left shoulder, challenging the balance. When you're ready, we'll release that, bringing the hands back up and overhead, and then we're going to come into our warrior three. So big balance challenge here. Go into it with a positive mindset. Remind yourself, I am strong, I am capable. As you release your hands down toward the mat, kick up that right foot off the mat, coming into that parallel to the floor position. Remember, you can incorporate some blocks or props here, or fingertips to the mat if you need to. And if you fall out, just get right back in it. No pressure, no judgment. Remember, your body and mind are in different states every day, so let's just honor that with a little grace and a little gratitude for what you're capable of here. You're going to take your time, explore, spend as long as you need here. And when you're ready, drop back into that right foot, coming back into your high lunge, hands up overhead, sinking down into that left hip. From here, we'll frame that left foot with the hands. We're going to send the left foot back for plank, but we're going to just walk the hands toward the body then, bringing the heels back to the mat, coming back into your standing forward fold. Taking your time, catching your breath, digesting what just happened here. All of your greatness, your strength, your endurance, your perseverance, the grace that you gave yourself. Reconnect to the breath, get grounded. We will do the reverse transition on the way down. So from here, let's widen the feet to about the width of the mat, letting the toes spill off the mat. And then we'll sink the hips back down into your yogi squat. Elbows inside the knees. Pressing palms together at the heart space. Reminding the body it's okay to relax. When you're ready, we're going to try to sink the sits bones back down to the mat without using any hands or feet to support you. So try to just connect the sits bones to the mat, extend through the legs, and come to a seated position without the use of your hands. From here, we're just going to transition to the back. So go ahead and center yourself on your mat if you need to. We'll cool down a little bit and then close this practice with a short meditation. So get to your back however you like to. I like to bring my palms together in front of me, point the fingertips away, and then slowly articulate through the spine, just really challenging your core strength and balance. Try not to flop down. It's okay if you do. Otherwise, just trying to move as slowly as possible to come into this comfortable lying position. All right, so from here, in your corpse pose, you can go ahead and put the hands out left to right in a T shape. If you need a pillow, feel free to put that under your head or neck. I'm going to bring my legs together first, and then I'm going to bend into my right knee to raise the right foot off the mat. So my calf is about parallel to the mat. My knee is bent at 90 degrees. I'll bring my left hand to the outside edge of that right knee. And then I'll use that left hand just to guide my right knee across the body and to stack the right hip on top of the left. Bringing that right knee toward the floor for a little supine twist, torso twist. You can keep that right hand where it is, or you can bring it to the mat next to your ear with your back of your hand touching the mat. And maintaining that contact with the floor, you'll just extend through the elbow. Your whole arm is touching the floor, including the back of your palm, kind of like you're raising your hand in class. Take your time here to reconnect with the breath and settle in. Notice what you're feeling and where without judgment. Check in with that inner dialogue. Notice how you're talking to yourself and about yourself. If that dialogue is degrading or abusive or harmful, let's change that. To change the way you think about the body, you change the way you talk about the body, both to yourself and others. So we're taking this opportunity just to internalize new messaging, new programming about your strength, your ability, your worthiness. Cultivating a robust resistance to individualism and the negative ways capitalism wants you to think about yourself. When you feel good about it, you can release that right knee, roll that back through center. Just coming back onto your back, getting settled in. We'll extend through that right knee and do the same thing on the left. Bending into the left knee, raising that left foot to parallel to the mat. Right hand comes to the outside edge of the left knee as we pull that left knee across the body, stacking the left hip on top of the right. Stay there as long as you'd like, or release that knee when you're ready to come back through center. We'll finish in any final meditative posture that works for you. I encourage you to continue meditation after we sign off here. I'm going to come into a reclined bound angle pose. Just bringing the soles of my feet together, letting the knees fall apart. I'll rest my hands on the hip flexors or iliac crests. Feel free to come into Shavasana or even a side lying pose, whatever you need here to get into your closing meditation. Let's reconnect with the breath as we close out. Once again, reminding the body it's okay to relax. It's okay to be present. We can let go of whatever is distracting us from this practice in this current moment. Remembering that rest is resistance, self-care is resistance, a positive self-image is resistance. All of these things make you more resilient, better able to sustain yourselves toward whatever goal you have. Take some time just to internalize those messages, to absorb the nutrients of your practice, to remind your body that you are in control. And that you can let go of what you don't need. Before I close this practice, I'm just going to bring my palms together to rest gently on the forehead. Feel free to join me if that feels right for you. First, I want to recognize that I am leading this practice from unceded Monongahela and Osage territories on what is currently known as Turtle Island. I encourage you to find out whose indigenous lands you're inhabiting and how you can support their ongoing struggles for liberation. And they are ongoing, so please do the research, find out, and support them in solidarity. I also want to recognize that yoga is an ancient spiritual practice stemming from the subcontinent of India and Indian culture, so we respect and honor that cultural heritage without appropriation. We recognize that yoga functions in many ways for many people of the world, including as a community. I thank you so much for being part of my community today. I hope you got something you needed here today, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.